Good morning. Hainan is a province of China. It's one of the lesser developed provinces, and it's an island. Its climate is tropical, and it's called the Hawaii of China. It's an island, so it's like Hawaii in that respect, but it feels more like Florida, in my opinion. Hainan is much more muggy and humid than Hawaii. But the climate of Hainan does lend itself really well to serving as a retirement haven, especially for residents in this part of the country, the north part of China. And much of Hainan's economy now is centered around elder care and geriatric medicine. And according to this, they also hope to build a space center there. So Hainan is a lot like Florida in those respects too. One of the reasons that drugs and treatments cost so much in Western countries and from Western companies is because the drug approval process just takes so long and it costs so much money. Pharmaceutical companies need to budget at least a decade and billions of dollars to get a drug approved in the United States or in Europe. And after all that's done, these companies feel like they have little choice but to recover these large capital investments by charging very high prices for the drugs. And when we complain about the giant profits earned by drug companies, especially for their new drugs, we're not exactly wrong, but there is plenty of blame to go around between regulators and governments and testing protocols and the fact that drug makers can be sued into bankruptcy if their drugs do any harm. All of these are cost drivers and they're features of our drug industry. And some of these are features also in the Chinese drug industry. It takes a long time for new drugs to get approved in China too. And in many respects, it's more difficult in China than in the United States or in Europe. If a drug gets through the regulatory process and it's later learned that the drug doesn't work or is dangerous, then a lot of people are going to be blamed. So everyone is well motivated to ensure that they themselves are not responsible for anything that may go wrong later. This is just human nature, and it goes double for anyone working in government bureaucracy anywhere. In 2017, Hainan province set up a large area for medical tourism. And they also revamped a lot of these regulations and laws, but just in Hainan province. This is a pilot zone for Chinese and foreign pharmaceutical and medical device companies to set up operations. Everything on the approvals side is streamlined, so drug approvals can take less than a year, which is down from the usual 4 to 5 years. Then once approved, the drugs and devices can be used in patients in Hainan province, but only in Hainan province. When we first started the research to do this video right here, we thought it seemed like it was similar to the orphan drug development program in the United States. But the medical tourism aspect of it makes it a lot different. So citizens of China are encouraged to go to Hainan to get these treatments which have been approved there in Hainan, but which are still pending approval in the rest of the country. The drugs approved for use in Hainan are also covered by the national insurance program there, and they're accepted by hospitals in Hainan. According to this, there are 100 medical products approved for use in Hainan, and 3/4 of those are from foreign companies. The zone is also open to foreign medical tourists. The foreign tourists have not been coming nearly as much as they had hoped in the beginning. The pandemic and travel restrictions no doubt slowed down that part of the plan. These data here come from the Next Pharma database, and we'll link to it too in the video description. It shows a number of investigational new drugs, or INDs, that are being processed by companies operating in Hainan province. And looking at the top 10 companies from 2022, there are 5 that are foreign companies from the US and Europe. AstraZeneca's number 2, Eli Lilly, Pfizer, Roche is from Switzerland, and Johnson & Johnson. Innovent sounds like it might be one of ours, but they're actually a Chinese company. So 5 out of the top 10 companies that are doing fast-track drug research in Hainan. This is a big jump over the previous year. Maybe this Hainan program could be a model for areas in some Western companies too. If we can get around the try a lawyer problem, get some of the national regulations loosened at a local level, perhaps. There is no doubt that large populations of patients are needlessly suffering, even dying, because they're often waiting on drugs that are still in development, or more likely, they won't be made at all. These new therapies will never be made because drug companies have figured it's just not worth the time or the expense to try to bring these therapies to market. So everyone knows the system doesn't work very well most of the time for most of the people in it. So maybe this is a way forward. This might be a different way around some of these issues. Thank you. Enjoy the afternoon. Be good.